Hello, quick video from my garden. It's a beautiful sunny afternoon before having to pop up to Swansea later to perform some healings later on this evening. Thought I'd have a bit of a rest and look at how the garden's coming along or starting to withdraw. I've had to, I don't know if you can see that, dig out the couple of the veg beds. There's a few things starting to kind of die back, but there's still plenty of green around to enjoy on a sunny day like this. And I was in Cardiff earlier this morning, again performing a healing for a client, and we were chatting obviously about stuff that was going on, and I was reminded of one of my favourite stories, Pinocchio, when I was younger, and his little descent into the fairground where all the pleasures of the world were offered to him. The candy floss, the ice cream, the roller coasters, the rebellion, the friendships, all that kind of stuff. And apparently all free, right? Enjoy yourself, do what you want, do what thou wilt, and have as much of this as you desire. Fulfill all of your desires in the fairground. And as these desires were being fulfilled on a fairly regular basis, as I'm sure you're aware, as the story is quite a popular one, some of his mates started to grow muzzles and ears and turn into donkeys, asses. And when Pinocchio looked in the mirror, he could see he was starting to become very similar. Luckily, upon viewing that, he listened to his conscience and decided to leg it and start his journey of self-discovery and birthing his humanity, let's call it, once again. So, as much as the occurrences of the outer reality at the moment are creating various restrictions on our lives, we need to look at these things as an opportunity to potentially ask ourselves the questions: where have we been potentially, or where have we been definitely overindulging in certain aspects of life which really haven't been all that fulfilling and healthy for us? They may seem fulfilling at the time, they may seem fun, but how much of them are really just distractions on the path which can kind of lead us astray? If you notice now, there are a lot more obstacles that you have to overcome to get your desires fulfilled. You have to wear a mask, you have to download an app or sign your name and address on a piece of paper, which risks you having to isolate potentially for long periods of time. You have to follow all these kinds of rules which have been imposed to some extent maintain what was the status quo 8 or 9 months ago. But it just requires a bit more energy, doesn't it? It requires a bit more what's the word I'm looking for? I guess it requires us to do more to fulfill our desires, or to give up more of our innate freedom in order to fulfill our desires. And metaphorically speaking, from a soul perspective, from the perspective of our energy, our consciousness, the more we descend into constricting laws, the more our consciousness is actually devolving, the more we are becoming like the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom, which is subject to much, much more stringent natural laws than that of the humanoid kingdom. So we need to start to be alert and understand why collectively we have created the situation that we have created, and look at the things that are happening in a way which gives us an opportunity to maybe liberate ourselves internally from some of these attachments, addictions, distractions, and things in our lives that, if we looked honestly and contemplated them honestly, weren't really all that fulfilling. I mean, they may have been fulfilling for you, in which case carry on, but it's like anything. When you overindulge in something, it becomes unbalanced and unhealthy. And where you've managed to maintain balance in something, then if it's taken away from you, it doesn't seem like such a big deal. So look to where the big deal is in your life right now. Where are you struggling regarding what's potentially been taken away from you, or what hoops do you have to jump through in order to kind of maintain what would have been the status quo 8 or 9 months ago, and see where that attachment and desire system within you is really strong. Okay, because that's where you give your power away. That's where you ultimately drain your energy and, allow others to reap the rewards from it. Because someone's gaining from all of this, Someone somewhere else is gaining from these extra principles that we're all being asked to adhere to right now, gaining energetically. And it's nice sometimes to, maybe depending on how old you are, look back a few years to potentially how simpler your life was 10, 20, maybe even 30 years ago. I know in the late 70s, early 80s, life was a lot simpler. And one thing these restrictions have shown me is I can quite happily sit in my garden and do nothing for days and days, as long as it's not raining too much. I can quite happily just go for a walk in nature, and that gives me everything that I need. I can quite happily sit on my sofa and read a book, or create some art, or write some poetry, or re-simplify my life, which has both a positive effect internally but also a positive effect externally. The less we are consuming, the less we are using valuable planetary resources, the less we are expending our own energy and money, then we're doing a service to the planet, and we're also doing a service to ourselves, because maybe we don't have to work so hard to earn the energetic credits to fulfill all these attachments and desires that we have. So I'm coming at it from a slightly different angle today, as much as the hypocrisy, the blatant lies, the lack of consistency of figures, the hysteria has created a number of choices and resultant causes and effects whatever gets presented to us in our lives can be used as fuel, as a manure for growth, for the work that we really have to do, the work that we've really come to this planet to do for our souls, for our, you know, our eternal nature, rather than our impermanent mortal nature. So yeah, just a brief one today before I get on the road again. Lots of other great metaphors in the Pinocchio story about what's happening planetary wide at the moment. Like I've said in earlier videos, we seem to be going through a collective initiation at the moment, and how we individually handle that initiation will determine not only whether we are able to cope over the coming years with the changes that are happening, or whether we will flail and kick and suffer. So, whatever your views, wherever you're at with all of this right now, just take some time to chill and sit and contemplate. What are you really missing from life? What are you really missing that these restrictions have supposedly taken away from you? Could get worse, right? So I will hold judgment. But for now, we can go inward a bit more. We can contemplate a bit more. We can look to, let's just say, relieve ourselves and let go of some of the things that, you know, may not have been serving our soul's growth. It may have been feeding our ego's growth really well, but not so much our soul's growth. So yeah, have a good remainder of your day, and I'll see you next time.